some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely.
I did what?
I think you going online and saying that, and the only reason I'm saying this is that if you ever read any federal indictment,
I did what? I tipped him off.
You tipped him off via
What
online.
did the lady say in the recording I sent you?
Well,
please don't what?
Please don't tell. But this is why I'm coming to this conclusion.
Looks like folks are really side-eyeing Wack 100 lately. Word is, 50 Cent lit into him for allegedly snitching on Big U, and that move supposedly triggered Big U's indictment. And get this, some whispers even claim Wack might have been wired up to trap rappers.
After you got the message, you hit up Big U's wife. You said, "Sis, 911. 1 sec, let me get Solo." And you gave him a heads up.
What I tell him?
You said, "1 sec, let me get Solo. He needs to leave. Bad." In caps, all caps. He needs to leave.
I said so bad, right?
Yeah, 4 bad.
What the 600 said is 4 rolling 60 telling on it.
All right, so Wack, let me ask you.
Oh, so that's what the 4 bad means.
What you talking about, you little brain?
Let me ask you this, Wack.
Go to talking. Now, I just sent you a clip. Play the clip. You're going to hear the people saying, "Don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't say nothing." So which one you want? If he wouldn't have said nothing and y'all found out knew, you would say what? Why you didn't say nothing?
No.
Yeah, it's getting wild out here. But hold up, don't get it twisted. This ain't me throwing out accusations. I'm just running through the talk that's buzzing heavy in the streets right now. Don't shoot the messenger. So here's how it all supposedly went down. According to Wack 100 himself, he made one crucial phone call that changed everything. Not to Big U directly, but to Big U's wife.
I told you I'm doing my movie time. I talked to you and I told you I want you involved in it. But I'm not fucking with that trucker dude. That dude lied every aspect.
Warning her about a secret federal indictment coming for her man. And this ain't no vague heads up. Wack apparently knew exactly when the feds were gonna make their move. Now pause right there. Who outside the system knows the drop like that about a sealed federal case? That's not some info you pick up from social media. That's straight from the inside.
So it looked good and it sounded good. But if you pull the indictment up, which we have it, it's 75 pages of what they're actually indicting him on.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nevada's gonna
take that. Okay, so there's a RICO count.
I will say some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely.
I did what?
And who tips off someone about a federal raid unless they're either deep in the loop or plugged in with someone who is? That's the moment where 50 reportedly started putting the puzzle pieces together. And suddenly, that whole "he might be wired up" theory, it ain't sounding so crazy no more. This ain't just barbershop talk. This might be real. But let's be real. 50 wasn't even the first one to raise flags. Long before him, Suge Knight had already been warning folks. Suge allegedly pulled Birdman aside and told him straight, "Watch Wack 100. Why? Because Suge said Wack was the one on the Fed's payroll. That's not some light claim. That's heavy. What do you think really went down? That warning from Wack 100 hit way different once people realized how much inside knowledge he had from being in the game for years. He ain't just some loudmouth. Dude knew something. Then came the whole Big U situation, and man, it was like a bomb dropped. A 43-count indictment came crashing down, packed with RICO charges, extortion, wire fraud, the works.
Plus, you're saying certain. I know you spoke to, or you had some information from the fam. Like this is like you should only know this if you're doing the investigation. But I get it. They told the people
60. Hey, what's Stutterbox?
Man, put that on Pyro.
But
that on
Stutterbox just
that's
called
gonna be another story we gonna talk about later.
What's Stutterbox got to do with something?
I'm talking about that paperwork. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You saying I'm on paperwork?
Yeah. Bro, am I lying? Put that on Pyro, you not.
Wax on paperwork?
Put that on Pyro, you not.
Put that on 6-0 Wax on paperwork.
6-0 you on paperwork. Put that on Pyro, you not.
Put that on
he put it on 6-0 on episode 60.
Put that on Pyro that you're not on that case.
Produce it.
Put that on Pyro that you're not on that case.
You know I'm the one got told on,
Put that on Pyro.
But here's where things really turned heads. The feds mentioned Big U was tied to a 2021 case about the tragic passing of a young musician named R.W. But strangely, that detail didn't even make it into the full 75-page indictment. So what's the deal? Word is, Nevada's handling that part separately. But the streets are buzzing. And guess what else? The feds straight up started pulling Clubhouse rants and podcast clips, stuff that Wack 100 himself said online, and used them as evidence. Yeah, they treating his audio like court receipts. This is when DJ Academics jumped in and spotted the madness first, and he didn't sugarcoat anything either. In an interview, he told Wack directly, "I think you tipped off Big U." And instead of denying it or clapping back serious, Wack just laughed. Who does that when their name is being floated around in a federal case?
The one that then got on me the most, right, is Birdman. Yeah, I'm a dude to keep it 100. Ain't nobody bigger than the politics. That's my brother, and we get on each other. But Birdman, out of everybody, Birdman had got on my ass, like, on me. He told me how dissatisfied he is. He said, "I love you. You my brother. I ain't never going to." You know that. We done been in the trenches together. But God damn it, just the way when I came in, I swear it was 50 and like 2 people. He was like 3 or 4 deep. Radio guys, like regular. So when I went over there, I said, "Yo, check this out." He's like, "Wack, what's up?" I said, "Man, game in the alley, 50 deep. It don't make sense for you to restrict him from coming in, and then you got to come out, and you got 50 out there waiting on you."
That's not how innocent people react when the heat's on. But this ain't the first time people been side-eyeing Wack like he might be on some informant stuff. Let's take it back to 2006. Wack and his brother got pulled over in Texas. Cops found loaded mags and more in the ride. Both of them were already convicted felons. This should have been an open and shut federal case. But here's the twist, and the whole case vanished 5 years later in 2011. And no, it didn't get tossed because of bad evidence or some illegal search. The judge even denied the motion to suppress. The case was dropped under something rare called "in the interest of justice." If you know anything about how courtrooms talk, then you already know what that phrase, "in the interest of justice," usually means. Cooperation. And that is what had people giving Wack 100 the serious side eye. Right after that case disappeared, Wack's whole career seemed to skyrocket. Suddenly, he was everywhere, managing major names, dropping industry secrets, talking like he had a front row seat to everything behind the scenes. Meanwhile, folks close to him, they started catching charges left and right, but Wack kept moving untouched. And the shady moves just kept stacking. Word got out that Wack was actually caught on a federal wiretap. You heard that right? A recorded phone call with a guy named Stutterbox, who's allegedly tied up in a major federal case connected to the Main Street Mafia Crips. So what was Wack doing on that call? According to sources familiar with the files, he wasn't just chopping it up. He was connecting dots. Some even believe he was out there helping the feds piece the whole puzzle together. That's a serious look and not in a good way. And it ain't like this is some brand new suspicion. Whispers like this been floating around Wack for years. Remember when he was locked in tight with Birdman? They even launched Cash Money West together. But then things shifted. And fast. That turning point? When Wack started managing Tekashi 6999? Yeah, that Tekashi. For someone already under fire for alleged cooperation with the feds, linking up with 6999, that move was career suicide in the streets.
Right by the Beverly Center. We thought we did. Somebody called us, told he was up there. I got up there. He came in.
How deep were you?
About 15.
15 people?
Yeah, we wasn't that deep.
In fact, Wack admitted in an interview that Birdman pressed him about why he was working with someone so toxic. Birdman didn't make a scene or blast him publicly, but the energy changed. He started moving different, distant, cold, cautious. That silence, it said everything. And now it all circles back to 50 Cent. Because guess what? Wack manages the game, and everybody knows the deep tension between 50 and Game goes way back. That beef between 50 Cent and the Game, Straight chaos. And instead of letting it cool off, Wack 100 poured gasoline all over it. Dude wasn't low-key about it either. He jumped on every platform he could find, talking spicy about 50 like he had no filter. He said wild stuff like 50's not from the streets anymore, and claimed the only reason he moves safe is because he's protected by the industry. Wack even said that 50 got to check in when he lands in LA. Like, he basically implied that without the green light from certain people, 50 ain't safe on the West Coast. That's not light talk, that's bold. But Wack wasn't just popping off for clout. He brought up a whole situation to back it. He said he and his crew pulled up to the SLS hotel trying to confront 50 face-to-face. But when they got there, Wack said it looked like a full-on military operation. According to him, 50's security was so deep it felt like Navy SEALs with machine guns were guarding the spot. And guess what? Folks online started clowning Wack for even admitting that. Like, why brag about pulling up just to bounce because the setup was too tight? That move didn't hit how he thought it would. Then when the topic of Big Meech and BMF came back in the mix, Wack couldn't keep quiet.
We got up there, we came in and shit. You had Navy SEALs with him. 2 in all directions. Probably about 6 of them. Walkies in their ear, vested, strapped to their thigh, bullies on them, semis on them, magazine cartridges. I said, yeah. He ain't slipping.
Today's not the day.
Nah, 50 moved different.
He went off again, accusing 50 of milking the BMF story for every dollar. Said 50 was using the legacy to boost his brand, making profit off other people's real-life pain. But this next part, this is where it gets real weird. While Wack's been loud, throwing shots left and right, 50's been radio silent. No slick IG captions, no memes, no power jokes, nothing. And for a guy who built his whole brand on trolling and internet beef, that silence ain't normal. It's loud. That's when the whispers started turning into full-on conversation. People close to the scene started saying the quiet part out loud. Maybe 50's not ignoring Wack out of strategy. Maybe it's for survival. Cause now there's real talk that 50 believes Wack is too close to some serious federal heat. And if he engages, Wack might just be trying to bait him into a trap that could get real legal real quick. Right when the internet started picking up steam on the whole Wack might be connected theory, boom, the big U indictment dropped. And suddenly, everything started clicking like puzzle pieces falling into place. This wasn't just talk no more. It was real. A massive federal RICO case hit, stacked with 43 serious counts, calling out 18 members of the Rollins 60s. But guess whose name wasn't anywhere on that list? Wack Stowe. Now here's where folks really started squinting sideways. Even though Wack's name didn't show up as a defendant, his voice, it was allegedly all over the supporting paperwork. How you deepen the convos that the feds are using to build a case, but somehow manage to slide out without a single charge? That's the kind of thing that makes people start asking real questions. And just when people thought it couldn't get any more twisted, Wack dropped another bombshell. He claimed that Adam 22, founder of No Jumper, got caught up in the whole RICO mess too. Now that's wild, especially since Wack is basically a regular on that platform. So if true, this one hit close. Wack even called into the No Jumper show live and said he had just got off the phone with his lawyer. He was trying to get legal help down to Adam ASAP. Like, don't let him say a single extra word. Wack said the feds came and picked Adam up that same morning, then circled back for more. But then he slipped in this wild part. He admitted he didn't actually know what the feds wanted from Adam, but he was sure they were pressing him about something. So now it's a mess of confusion and speculation. Just when it was starting to spiral out, Adam 22 shut it all down himself. He stepped in, went public, and denied everything. Said flat out, he was never arrested, not even questioned, and definitely not under investigation. And just to make it spicy, he threw some slick shade at Wack. said dude's got an overactive imagination and made it real clear that for now, he's not in any kind of trouble. But how long can that for now hold up? Things took another twist when Adam 22 admitted that, yeah, the feds actually did pull up to his spot and had a convo with his lawyer. But here's the part that really caught people off guard. According to Adam, the feds weren't there to arrest or question him directly. They were looking for a cease and desist letter from Big U. Yep, that same letter that demanded No Jumper take down a podcast episode where Loose Cannon allegedly said Big U had prior knowledge about what was going to happen to Nipsey Hussle before it went down. That's a heavy claim. And the feds wanting that letter? Yeah, it raised some serious eyebrows. Adam pointed out that the letter ain't even mentioned in the original indictment or criminal complaint. So to him, the whole thing feels shady. Like, what exactly are the feds looking into when it comes to Big U? That's when the spotlight swung right back around to Wack 100. Because let's not forget, he's the one who tried to pull Adam into this entire situation from the jump. But the catch? Wack's name still ain't on the indictment either. Somehow he's always involved, but never in the hot seat. And the streets started really noticing. The internet lit up. People started dragging Wack hard. They even gave him a new name, Rat 100. And the comment section, brutal. One user wrote, Wack is a terrific informant, a man of many talents, snitching being one of them. Another said, I've never seen a so-called G that knows so much about the feds. That's not just jokes. That's years of suspicion boiling over. Let's be real. How does someone with no badge know exact federal details, down to who's talking and when? That ain't normal. If this rabbit hole keeps going the way it is, things are only gonna get messier. So let us know what you think. Is Wack really plugged in too deep? Drop a comment below, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to tap that bell so you don't miss the next drop. See you on the next one.